together when we are losing, but tend to find means of breaking up when we're winning.
Give me that.
We can always stick together when we are losing, but tend to find means of breaking up when we're winning. Embrace Under Pressure by Thurgood Marshall.
Next.
Maya.
Thurgood Marshall, born July 2nd, 1908 in Baltimore, Maryland, died January 24th, 1993 in Bethesda, Maryland. His spouse was Vivian Berry, married in 1929. Children, Thurgood Marshall Jr. and John Marshall.
Oh, you got 2 boys.
Well, this was his birthline where he was born in 1908. He was 18 in high school. Lincoln University, married to Vivian Berry and Howard University. And he got accepted on this date line to the NAACP 129 of 32 cases. And what does that say right there? Argued in the Supreme Court. 1966 became the first African American Supreme Court judge and then died at 1993. Education highlights. Thurgood liked to argue and was on the debate team. After high school, he went to Lincoln University with a plan to study dentistry, but instead he got a degree in literature and philosophy. He wanted to go to University of Maryland, but they didn't accept him because he was African American. So instead, he went to Howard University Law School. Thurgood graduated number 1 in his class and took a job with the NAACP. The first case he tried was against the University of Maryland for not accepting African Americans. Though he won the case, he spent the rest of his life trying cases for civil rights. Brown versus Education. Video of Judge Warren's decisions. This.
I think we can see it.
Scroll down.
Civil rights attorney Thurgood Marshall was a case called Brown versus the Board of Education.
I just
See,
was saying,
public
this
schools
is
were
a sad.
segregated. Blacks and whites couldn't learn together. Marshall argued that the only way that the Supreme Court could uphold this unfair law was to prove that blacks were inferior to whites. Deliberations dragged on as the nation waited. Finally, the courts announced that they were going to read their decision. Well, reporters and spectators crowded into the courtroom. It seemed like it was going to take Chief Justice Warren forever to get to the point. Finally, he said, "We have concluded." And then he paused for significant effect. "Unanimously, that the doctrine of separate but equal has no place in public education. Separate facilities are inherently unequal." Thurgood Marshall felt like he hit a grand slam, clearing the way for the desegregation of all public facilities in America.
Okay, go ahead, Darren. Continue. So, tell them what you did to get that video inserted on your PowerPoint.
I don't need so much. Come on. Thank you.
All right, presenter, keep
This
going.
court case is our county's most important education decision. Fun facts, Thurgood Marshall. Birth name Thurgood. He shortened it in 2nd grade because it was too long to spell. Had to memorize the Constitution for misbehaving in school. The first African American Supreme Court judge appointed by President Lyndon B. Johnson. In 1991, Thurgood Marshall retired from the Supreme Court. He was followed by Clarence Thomas. He was the second African-American Supreme Court judge. Nickname was Mr. Civil Rights. Chadwick Boseman played Thurgood Marshall in 2017 movie Thurgood. Which was that right there. Which said was, where you see wrong or inequality or injustice. Those are references that we use for our website to find out where we went to find things about Thurgood Marshall.
Click on them.